On elections official wants local governments to begin vaccinating poll personnel as the inoculation of the A4 priority group kicked off earlier this week. The poll body seeks protection for its staff against COVID-19 as it hopes to encourage more Filipinos to sign up through satellite registration sites. We now go above and beyond the headlines with Comelec Commissioner Rowena Guanzon. Good evening, ma'am. Welcome to Newsnight.
Good evening, Lisa. Thank you. Pia.
Ma'am, no, this is Pia.
I know, I said Pia.
Ma'am, okay. Yeah. Ma'am, let's begin with that, no? You want Comelec personnel, officials, workers vaccinated. What is the status of that request? Has there been an official request made? Ano na ba sinabi ng national government, ng IATF? At the same time, we do have a problem with supply.
We are now classified under A4, but very low in the ladder. In fact, just now I heard from the regional director in Bicol that one of our election officers has died and 3 election assistants have COVID. And so I am appealing to the mayors to please prioritize our election officers and election assistants when there is supply. The City of Manila has started vaccinating our Intramuros employees in another building, not inside our building. But so far, that's less than 500 people. Nationwide, some LGUs already have supplies. In Negros Occidental, all our election officers have had their first dose. But I don't know about the other provinces. But again, I think it's really a problem of supply.
Of course, very understandable, the sense of urgency here because the elections are next May. That is just less than a year away, and October, filing of certificates of candidacy. But just one last question, ma'am, on the vaccination, because there was a time that you did, back in May, no? You did you did tweet, and we quote, "Anyone has extra vaccines for sale, I need it for my drivers and staff." Has that issue been cleared up already?
Well, we were trying to source from private sector who are allowed to procure, but so far I have had no luck. So our people, my staff especially, are just waiting for our turn from the City of Manila. So no luck there. In fact, I heard even the private sector procurements are way delayed, including that of the Razon Group.
Okay. ICTSI, Moderna. Commissioner Guanzon, like we said a while ago, the elections are just 9-10 months away, and we have the filing of the COCs in October. It's not going to look anything like what it was in the past, correct, ma'am?
Yeah, but I expect a lower turnout now because the national average turnout was almost 70% last time. If you look at Palawan, well, it's not really nationwide. Just Palawan plebiscite was around 60%, even with COVID. So it shows the passion of the people to make their vote count. But unless the voters are vaccinated, and unless our election officers and assistants are fully vaccinated, our barangay satellite registration service cannot go on full force. Again, I would like to emphasize that the registration is going to end on September 30 and there will be no extension.
No extension. All right, very clear. September 30, that's the end of registration, no extension, like you said. But ma'am, you were saying we might be looking at a low turnout for the elections. But what is the possibility of mail-in votes, for example? I'm sure you've looked at other countries that have held elections during the pandemic.
I am very hopeful that the early voting bill now in the Senate, under the committee of Senator Amy Marcos, will pass soon, because that's the best way to make the votes of persons with disability and senior citizens count. What that bill provides is that we can have a separate earlier election day for them 1 week before. So instead of May 9, those who opt to vote early on May 2, who are PWDs and senior citizens, can under this proposed law. So I'm hopeful that we can do that. As to mail-in voting, I doubt if that has any chance now. And early voting is really a good start, but Comelec will need more budget for that, because it's really conducting an elections on another day. Although not all precincts will be open, only strategic precincts will be open. Still, the budget, we will need the budget for salaries of the teachers, shipping courier services for shipping the ballots early, and transporting them. You know, we have precincts in tiny islands, and the election officer has to ride a banca. We have precincts in very, very high, up there in the mountains, and election officers put them on Carabao carrozas. So, you know, the travel that the ballots have and the ballot boxes have to endure, and the election officers' tolerance for inconvenience is really a challenge in every election. We'd like to thank our people for always making it, notwithstanding our constraints. Our election officers and the teachers have always pulled us through in all elections.
Well, some things never change, ma'am, but something will change in the Commission on Elections, because you will not be there anymore as commissioner during the elections in May, kasi magre-retire na pala kayo sa February. So paano yan? Wala nang exciting sa mga commissioner? Paano yun?
They're going to miss me for sure. My colleagues are used to me, although I am the low dissenting commissioner most of the time. I think I can feel their respect and appreciation. And right now what we're doing is we involve each other in our work and our committees. Myself, for example, I'm the commissioner in charge for overseas voting. Commissioner Casqueo is the chair of the steering committee. We all have our tasks. And even if 3 of us will retire on February 2, the 4 commissioners will be able to function very well with our competent directors. Of course, we're hoping the president will appoint another commissioner soon. But all the preparations for the elections, I have been really on board. So I'm doing my duty, especially that I was former commissioner of COA, so I know that my colleagues also rely on my opinion when it comes to procurement and COA rules and regulations. So our biddings are on time. We are trying to procure more machines so we can reduce the number of voters in every precinct from 1,000 to 700. And as I said, there will be no extensions, because by December we should be ready with the precincts. You know, we call it the project of precincts, where the voters will go to what precincts, because the lists there have to be finalized in the computer, etc. And then the printing of the ballots at the very latest with the National Printing Office will be in January at the latest. That's why we are hoping that the filing of the certificate of candidacy will not be extended anymore. That because of our situation, the pandemic, it's very hard to move. So we really have to move on schedule. And we hope that all the candidates will cooperate. Especially the nuisance candidates. Please, I am begging you, do not do this as a hobby. Do not do this for fun. Do not do this for your Facebook and Instagram post. Do not fill up the certificate of candidacy if you are not seriously running for office, especially for senator.
Okay. Oo, maganda yung appeal nyo, ma'am, ha, sa mga nuisance candidate. Don't do this as a hobby. Tigilan nyo na yan. I need to wrap up, ma'am, pero sabi nyo, 3 kayo magre-retire. Meron na ba kayong idea? Ma'am, 10 seconds answer. Meron na ba kayong idea sino yung papalit sa inyo? Yung 3, that's half the Comelec, half the commission.
Right now, no. I don't even have an idea who will be the next commissioner coming in, but for sure, he or she will be a lawyer. Our task, it's quite difficult. Nowadays, we don't just rule on cases. The quasi-judicial function is just one part of it.
Yes.
We also make our rules, and then we
Right.
also
Okay.
involve, the commissioners are involved also in operations. So I'm sure the president will choose
Okay.
also based on those requirements.
Comelec Commissioner Rowena Guanzon, ma'am, thank you very much for joining us tonight. When we return,